So guys, key trades. Today is May 9th, and a great way to end off the week. Ended up calling out a long for 50 points, potential short, and then a potential long again. So overall, could have been 3 wins, but technically 2 wins in a scare in a break even. But a great quality week all around and a perfect week. So today, cashed out 730, and then we had Caesar go on an absolute tear. He caught the short, and then caught it again, which is beautiful, beautiful stuff. My pre-market plan was not right whatsoever, and it happens sometimes, right? I was looking for a draw higher or a draw lower, right? We were range bound. I knew Friday was going to be slow. I could see it both ways, right? We ended up getting our sell side targets met, and technically kind of played out once you see the 15-minute shift, but just did not get a very clear model to that level. So coming into the targets and the structure, right, obviously the 139 is going to be just this nasty low, and then my long target was going to be this high, and then previous day's high. And the other targets I had were 123s, which is going to be this 1 hour low, and then obviously overnight low here. Here's my target, my structure for the day. And my plan was pretty simple, right? If we saw selling through the 15-minute, or we see a sweep and reversal, then I would look short. We found the selling through the 15-minute, and we just didn't get a trade. Totally fine. So our first setup came on a different style look. All right, so we end up dipping back in the 15-minute, and we had a nice SMT. Over these 5 a.m., 5:30 lows, we had a higher low here. So we see a bullish SMT, and I really did like the draw, right? We had this nasty candle high at the 90s, and then we failed to deliver it here. So I was thinking as this to be the swing to fully deliver to the high. But it didn't happen, but we played the trade conservative. We see the conditions. We understand, hey, the market's not going to be smooth. Off the open, we're very choppy. We're very, lots of wick. It's not going to be smooth. But if we get the SMT, we fail to reach this high, and then we get the bullish fair value. That's a great quality trade. So I did this as a call-out trade. Entry here. Stop loss at 2010. And then called for a scale break-even trade. And then Gabe actually sold damn near at the top. Yeah, he sold at 75 exactly on the tick. Why, you may ask, he sold exactly on the tick? Because of his funded. He just needed this much to pass, so we targeted there. But yeah, a 35 to potential 50-point trade. And then obviously the full TPs just did not get delivered. The rest would have got out break even, somewhere around here. But overall, a great quality trade. I mean, the entry, pretty nice. But, I wish it would have fully delivered, but that's totally okay. So we ended up failed to deliver high, and then we broke down and sold through that 15-minute, and then we just absolutely dumped to the targets. So now that we have delivered my sell side targets, now I'm looking at potential reversal. And where can we see a reversal to? Higher time frame. We want the 15-minute. Okay. We see a huge imbalance, right? So if we find the sell side sweep in the reversal, we are likely to fill this huge 15-minute fair value gap imbalance. So this is where my trade came in. Ended up being simple, right? Once I started to see the inverses of all the bearishes, we saw the break. Waited for this fair value gap. Once we tested this fair value gap and ended up faking it out, right? As you can see, we dipped below it, but we closed on it. Once we inversed this bearish, there was a retrace entry short, and then stop loss at the low. And then it was about a very small gain here. 26 points, I believe. Yeah, 25 points. Straight to the 15-minute reprice, and that is a nice reversal reprice trade. Again, the market today just did not offer a lot of setups. In my opinion, I believe I should have gotten an entry somewhere for this short, but just didn't come into fruition. We wanted to wait for a 5-minute inverse, and it absolutely just ripped it down. Totally fine. And then coming into the last trade that I called, which would have been a scale break even, Caesar ended up holding it to plan, which is absolutely beautiful, and it ended up paying nice, but would have been a scale break even or just a break even trade. So simple setup, right? We drew back into the 15-minute. We inversed and we broke down. This would be a nice early entry, but I just wasn't convinced again because of the way we closed this fair value gap. So I waited for the shift. Once I saw a shift below, I called for the entry of the 37s, which is just going to be this fair value gap. And then stop loss would be placed at this high. So again, this trade ran 35 points, but I called for a scale or break even early because of conditions here. Obviously, my targets were going to be this low and then this low. So this trade either gave you a 30-point scale break even, or you just stuck to your planning out break even. Caesar grabbed the early entry up here, so his stop loss was resting above, and it almost got hit, but it ended up playing out nicely to the first TPs, and then the rest almost got hit. But overall, we see the market was pretty choppy, pretty bad. But if you do what? If you stay patient, you wait for your areas of interest, and most importantly, you adapt. Right? This trade would have been a loss. But since we understand the conditions, if we break this low with aggressive selling, we have this fair value up to play with. So I was comfortable saying, you know what? It's not worth it. We're up 35 points, and we're over a 1-to-1 here. Either scale or go break even. But most importantly, do not let this trade go against you, because if we break the low aggressively and leave it in balance, we would either tap this and dump or just simply just dump. If we don't do that, I don't believe it's worth the risk, especially on Friday and especially after we've had all green days this week. So a very smart play, and that was pretty much it. So SMT inverse trade here, 35 to 50 points, and then we had a 25-point long here, and then a potential likely break even or a scale, then a break even short here. And then Caesar ended up grabbing the re-entry shorts here, which ended up hitting nicely. But overall, just a great way to end off the week. Again, the market does not have to be good to catch wins. Stay patient, react to the market, let the setups come to you, let the market show you what it wants to do, and it will pay. But that's going to be it for May 9th. A great quality week and a perfect week. Quick testimonial look. Not testimonial, my fault. Quick win rate look, and all the days were green, and we ended up going 6 for 6, and we're going to kill it next week and go on to CPI. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you want to join the Discord, we have a link in the bio. We'd be happy to have any and all new members. But until next time, guys, peace out.